Hello, today we're going to be talking about Henry VIII of England. He was born on June 28th, 1491 and died on January 28th, 1547. He was king between the years of 1509 and 1547. Henry is most known for his 6 marriages and bringing out the beginnings of the English Reformation. As a child, Henry excelled in things like hunting, athletics, and dancing. He also mastered multiple different languages, including German. Henry took the throne in 1509 after his brother Arthur had died, and during that he also married his brother's widow, Catherine of Aragon. This marriage ultimately ended in divorce because Catherine could not provide him a boy to take over the throne. So, they did have a girl, Princess Mary, but all the rest of their pregnancies had resulted in stillborn and early deaths. So, after some years, they pretty much bullied the Pope into annulling the marriage because the previous Pope had signed off on it, and Henry claimed that it was against the divine law, and the deaths of the babies were God's testament to the fact that they shouldn't have been married in the first place because it was his brother's widow. But this is also after he comes along Anne Boleyn, who is 20 years old at the time, and he wants to marry her because he thinks that she will be able to give him a boy, but they obviously have to be married in order for that child to take the throne. So, at the time, Thomas Wolsey, however you say it, was pretty much running England. Henry wasn't doing very much in terms of running his kingdom, but because he couldn't convince the Pope to annul the marriage, he was arrested and kicked out of his position, but died before he could go to trial. Thomas Cromwell came into the council, and he stayed in power for about 8 years. Because the Pope wouldn't annul the marriage, Cromwell went through Parliament to get the divorce finalized. After about 6 years of this process, Henry was finally able to marry Anne Boleyn. During this time, after they got married, Henry was pretty much told Rome that he was the divine power, he should be head of the kingdom, all that stuff, and pretty much broke away from the Roman Catholic Church. In 1533, however, after he married Anne Boleyn, the same year, their daughter Elizabeth was born. So they broke away from the church, and they passed the Act of Submission of Clergy, the Act of Succession, and the Act of Supremacy, which said that the king was the head of the Church of England, and that produced the new religion of Anglicana. So all of this went to Henry's head because he was a very self-centered person, but he started to kill off the people that didn't support him and support their new religion. After a while, he got tired of Anne Boleyn because she, like Catherine of Aragon, couldn't give him a boy. So he killed Anne on counts of treason and adultery, and right after she was killed, he married Jane Seymour, who had given him a son, Prince Edward, but Jane was killed in childbirth with Edward, so that marriage didn't last long. After Anne died, though, he tried to replace her with Anne of Cleves, but Henry ended up divorcing her as well because he simply didn't like her. After Anne of Cleves, he ended up marrying Catherine Parr, who outlived Henry and saw him to the end of his life. But during the end of his life, Henry became more secretive and suspicious and very paranoid, and he thought that he had controlled everyone around him, but in reality, he was the one being manipulated by everyone. Henry didn't do much in the end of his life. He was very paranoid that people didn't see him as a very good king, and he finally started to realize that he didn't do much as a king. So yeah, Henry VIII is known for his 6 marriages and bringing about the Anglican Church, the Church of England, in order to get a divorce and marry another woman.